In this section, we'll learn how to edit events or parts. If we look at the audio events that we've recorded earlier, we notice that the bass track has an audio event on it called audio1_1. This is because the name of the track was originally audio1, and the suffix _1 means that this is the first audio file to be recorded on the track. Naming your audio files keeps your project clean and easy to understand. Let's rename audio1_1 to bass. First, choose the Object Selection tool. Click on the event audio1_1. Make sure the event info line is turned on. The event info line gives us detailed information about the object or objects that are currently selected in the timeline. Change audio1_1 to bass underneath the word file. This changes the audio file's name directly on the hard drive. Notice that our audio event now says bass. You resize an event by adjusting the start and/or end of the event. Used in combination with the split tool, this is usually all the editing you'll need. Position your cursor over one of the squares at the bottom right or bottom left of the event. Click and adjust the bass event so that it lines up with electric guitar 1. Splitting is used to cut events. You can split or cut an event wherever you want, or split them evenly to bars and beats. Splitting with snap off allows you to cut anywhere without locking to any kind of reference. Choose the split tool. Make sure snap is off and not highlighted. You can now split or cut the audio anywhere by clicking on the event. Undo your actions by choosing Undo Split from the Edit menu as many times as you use the split tool. Make sure that there are no splits in the bass event anymore. Having snap on allows you to split or cut to a time reference. For example, if you want to cut the electric guitar track to bars or beats. Make sure snap is on. If you are having trouble seeing anything beyond the tool buttons, right-click in the top bar that the tool buttons are on. This allows you to change what you see at the top of the project page. Customization is at the heart of Cubase. Choose Default so that if you changed anything, it will return to the default settings. Next, right-click again and choose Automation Mode so that it is hidden from view. Now we can see enough for us to continue on with the split tool. With most of the snap features in view, choose Grid to the right of the snap button. This means we'll be snapping to a grid. Next, choose Bar as the grid type. This means you'll split things into bars. Let's cut on bars 6, 10, and 14. Select Undo Split from the Edit menu and return the bass to the way it was. Hold down Alt on the PC or Option on the Mac. Click on the bass event at bar 3, and the length of the split will be repeated until the end of event. You can try this with snap on or off. Using the Glue tool allows you to join events together that have been cut using the split tool. Choose the Glue tool. Glue together the split events and the electric guitar track by clicking just before each split. Let's make sure we glue all of them. Moving events allows us to simply move an event from one part of the project page to another. Choose the Object Selection tool. Click and hold the mouse once on an empty area of the project page. Drag to create a selection of all the events. Then let go of the mouse. With all of the events selected, click and drag them to bar 1. Click once on an empty area of the project page so that no event is selected. Copying can be used to copy an event to another area on the project page. If you want to make many copies, see the section on repeating coming up next. To copy an audio or MIDI event, click on the event you wish to copy and choose Copy from the Edit menu. In our case, let's choose the Electric Guitar 1 event. Position the cursor at the point in the project that you wish the copy to be made. We'll put our cursor at bar 17. Make sure you click on the track that you want the copied event to be copied to. Choose Paste from the Edit menu. Always note the track you have selected before choosing Paste. Now we have 2 guitar events. Note that we also copied the takes that were in the guitar track. We can use these later. With the Object Selection tool, hold down Alt on the PC or Option on the Mac. We are going to copy the Guitar 2 events. Remember that there are 3 events since we use stack recording to record them. Select all of the Guitar 2 events by clicking and dragging as described in Moving Events. Click and hold the selected events and drag to the new position you wish the copy to be made. Repeats are great for repeating something over and over directly after the event you want to repeat. Click the bass event with the Object Selection tool. Choose Repeat from the Edit menu. In the dialog that opens, choose how many copies you wish to make by increasing the Count field. You can choose to select Shared Copies if you want. Shared copies allow you to make aliases to the original event. This means that if you make changes to the original event, such as processing or editing, the copies will reflect those changes. This is a big time saver. Click OK, and the repeat will be directly placed after the bass event. Muting an event stops you from hearing just that event. You may want to mute events in a track so that the track continues to play except for the events you mute. Note that this is different from muting a track. Choose the Mute tool. Click once on the event you wish to mute. To unmute an event, click on the muted event with the Mute tool, and it returns to normal. If you drag with the Mute tool, you can mute a number of events at a time. Equally, this will unmute events that are muted. You can add a fade to an event to give the effect that the event is fading in or fading out. Choose the Object Selection tool. Click on the event you wish to add a fade to. Notice the blue triangles that appear at the top left and top right of the event. Click on one of the blue triangles and move it so that a fade appears. For more advanced fades, you can double-click on the fade area to open up the Fade dialog. See Fades and Crossfades in the operation manual for more information. You can add volume automation to an event. This allows you to adjust the loudness of the event over time. Choose the Draw tool. Click on the Electric Guitar 1 event with the mouse, and notice that a volume automation point appears. Clicking either high or low on the event will change the event's volume to either loud or soft. Clicking further will create more points. As you create more and more volume automation points, you are adjusting the volume of the event over time. Notice that the audio file reflects the changes you make. The sample editor is primarily used for detailed editing. It can be used for the following functions: detailed sample drawing, hit point editing, warp samples, time warp, or region editing. The sample editor is explained in its own chapter in the operation manual. Before we go into the sample editor, let's explain events and parts. Audio events are considered raw pieces of audio that sit on the project page. Audio parts are a collection of events grouped together. This is what an audio event looks like. Notice the blue triangles at the top. This is what an audio event inside a part looks like. Parts contain either audio or MIDI. Notice that there are no blue triangles at the top. To open the sample editor, double-click an audio event. You know you are in the sample editor by looking at the top left-hand side of the window. If you double-click on an audio part, you will open the Audio Part Editor. You will need to double-click on the audio event once more to reach the sample editor. Cubase has the ability to make changes to the audio in more ways than splitting and resizing. You can normalize, reverse, pitch shift, and time stretch, to name a few. For a full explanation on processing audio, see the chapter in the operation manual called Audio Processing and Functions. You can process the whole audio event or use the range selection tool and just select the section of audio you want. Let's show you how to normalize and reverse an audio event. Normalize raises the volume of the audio to the desired amount. A common use for normalizing is to raise the level of the audio that was recorded at too low an input level. Go to the Process menu found under the Audio menu and select Normalize. Adjust the slider to the amount you desire. A setting of 0 dB or -1 dB is common. Press the Process button and your audio is now normalized. If you have copied events on your project page, this dialog will open. It asks if you want all the copied events changed, or if a new version is going to be created so that only your selection is affected. Reverse. With the Object Selection tool, click on the audio event you wish to change. In our case, let's pick the bass audio event. Go to the Process menu found under the Audio menu and select Reverse. Offline Process History. When you process audio, the audio is not permanently changed. Instead, Cubase remembers the changes and stores backups of your files. You can then come back to the processing, make changes, swap the processing with other effects, or remove all the processing entirely. This is done behind the scenes and can be accessed through the offline process history window. We have processed the base audio event with normalize and reverse. Click on the base event to select it and choose Offline Process History from the Edit menu. The Offline Process History window shows you the processing that has been applied to this audio event. You can click Modify to change the settings of normalize if, for example, you normalize too high or you want to bring it down a little. You can also replace normalize with another process by selecting Replace By and then choose another process from the drop-down list. Remove is used to remove or delete a process from the list. If, for example, we didn't want the reverse anymore, we can just take it away. Deactivate toggles between deactivate and activate. If a process is deactivated, the activate button will appear, allowing you to return the process to its original state.